You've been told get more sleep. It's not wrong, but it's not the most useful version of the truth. Because the research on bipolar disorder points at something more specific and honestly more doable than a number of hours. It says, keep your rhythm steady, and the single most protective rhythm you have isn't the hour you go to bed. It's the hour you get up. I'm Clara. Today, one of the best evidenced, least glamorous tools there is. And by the end, you'll have the exact daily rule to start it tonight. Stay for the last part, because there's one anchor that holds all the others in place, and almost nobody starts there. First, the honest frame, and it holds for everything here. This works with your medication, not instead of it. Steadying your routines is a powerful lever. It is not a replacement for treatment. It's the thing that makes your treatment more stable. So here's the science, simply. Your body runs on an internal clock, and that clock doesn't set itself. It takes its cues from the ordinary timekeepers of your day. When you wake, when you first talk to another person, when you eat, when you work, when you sleep. Researchers call those timekeepers zeitgebers, and here's the part that matters for bipolar disorder. This illness comes with an unusually sensitive clock. When your daily timekeepers scatter, a red-eye flight, a newborn, shift work, a breakup, even the clock's changing. The internal clock gets knocked loose. And a loosened clock is one of the most reliable ways to tip a vulnerable brain toward an episode, up or down. That's the whole idea behind a therapy called IPSRT, built by the psychiatrist Ellen Frank. Protect the rhythms and you protect the mood. In her trials, people who kept their daily routines more regular went longer without a new episode. You've probably lived this without ever naming it. Think back to the last time your life got knocked off its rails for a week or two. A trip across time zones, a stretch of deadlines, a new baby, a breakup that wrecked your sleep. And then, a couple of weeks later, the mood showed up, too high or too low, almost on a delay, as if it had nothing to do with the chaos before it. But it had everything to do with it. That gap is your clock drifting loose and then dragging your mood along behind it. And that's actually the hopeful part. If scattered routines can push a mood around, then steady ones can hold it steady. Now the tool, because this is meant to be usable. There are 5 daily anchors, and you don't have to control your whole life. Just these 5 at roughly the same time each day. 1, the time you get out of bed. 2, your first contact with another person. 3, the time you start your day's main activity. Work, study, whatever it is. 4, your evening meal. 5, the time you go to bed. That's it, not perfect, just regular. You're not scheduling your soul. You're giving 5 simple events a roughly fixed time, so your body stops having to guess what hour it is. A quick way to picture it. If a stranger followed you for a week, could they predict within an hour when you'd wake, eat, and sleep? If yes, your clock has something to lock onto. If your days look like 5 different people lived them, your clock is flying blind. And a blind clock is a vulnerable one. And here is the keystone I promised, the one that holds up the rest. Of those 5, the most powerful is your wake time. Anchor the morning, and the whole day tends to fall in behind it. Light hits your eyes at a consistent hour. Your energy sorts itself out, and your body clock gets a clear signal about when day begins. This is why sleep in to catch up can quietly backfire. A wildly different wake time on the weekend is a small dose of jet lag you gave yourself without leaving home. So if you change one thing, change this. Get up within the same hour or so every day, including weekends. Call it your wake anchor. 2 more moves. First, and this surprises people, regularity beats duration. A steady 7 hours does more for a bipolar brain than a chaotic 9. The person who sleeps 6 on weekdays and 11 on weekends is giving themselves a small, repeating dose of jet lag. The person who holds a boring, even schedule is giving their clock something it can actually trust. So aim for consistent, not just long. Second, guard the rhythm hardest exactly when life tries to break it. The known disruptors, travel across time zones, the clock's changing, a deadline week, a new baby, a night out, are the moments an episode looks for. You can't always avoid them, so brace for them instead. Flying somewhere? Decide your new wake time before you land. Get outside into morning light the first day, and don't let the sleep debt pile up unwatched. A hard week coming? Protect the wake anchor even harder, not less. And treat a run of short nights as the early warning sign it is. Not a badge of honor, not, I'm just productive right now, but data worth telling your doctor. Lost sleep isn't only a symptom of an episode starting. Sometimes it's the match that starts it. One honest limit. This is a lever, not a cure, and the evidence puts it as an add-on alongside medication, not a standalone fix. And it works best as steady, boring maintenance, built in the calm so it's already holding when a hard stretch arrives. So, the hour that protects your mood most isn't the one you fall asleep. It's the one you choose to get up, held steady day after day, until your clock stops guessing and your mood has firmer ground to stand on. Sleep was never really the rule. Rhythm is. If you want the simple version to keep, I send a short weekly note with tools like this one, practical, plain, free, linked below. And if this helped, subscribe. Your next step is on the screen. It pairs directly with this one. I'll see you there and start with the wake time. Just that. It's more than it looks.